Welcome to Estimate Cost under Project Cost Management. Right. Then comes the estimate cost activity. This is where nothing but you try to estimate the cost for each activity. So this is not new. By now, you know, since you did the time plan, now you know activity level, you know in detail. And now this is the time that you try to estimate the cost for this each and every activity. So it is actually a prediction, because the word itself says an estimate cost, because you don't know the actual cost. So it is a prediction. And that's why we actually had to decide what is the error margin that you are going to get at the cost plan level. So it is this is actually a prediction of cost based on various information. And this is the place now you will have to act together with your finance team and decide, since your each and every activity you are going to allocate the cost, whether it is good to buy or good to lease. Say for you need a projector for your project, then of course whether you can buy the projector or whether you can lease a projector. You need 20 laptops for your project, whether you can rent the laptops or you can buy the laptops. Whether you are going to insource or outsource, training can be outsourced, or developing user manuals can be outsourced without putting our resources to it. So these are the several options that you can decide. So once again, inputs, obviously the project plan up to this level. Any risk registers, because any other document risk register is also very important, because any risk response, say for example you have identified a certain risk. Say you want a training to be done by a foreign resource, and one of the risks is that maybe he's not available online. Then you will have to bring him down to Colombo. Then the risk response will be obviously book a flight and bring him down. So any negative risk response, any cost involved in a negative risk response has to get included in your cost budget, because it cannot be thereafter, it cannot get included once it is approved. So your risk register plays also a major role in your costings, and we'll have a separate session on risk. But then for the moment, your risk register, any response that you indicate a response for a negative risk, then has to get costed. Okay. So again, what they say is the quality is also very important. Because you maybe in the industry, you know the software quality, and the quality level that the customer is expecting has a major impact on the cost. So activities and the resources required to achieve the quality objectives is also an very important input when you try to estimate your cost. And because it will have a direct impact on the cost of the project. Right. So now we are trying to estimate your cost of your project, and you as a project manager has to know your market conditions, how much you pay for expert trainers or foreign of this kind of people. If you're outsourcing certain things, basically if you're renting laptops, how much is the market rate for renting laptops? And these market information, the product information, and the resources costing, now you should start knowing these things. And human resource cost, any skills, you might need specialized database resources. Maybe your company does not have those things, then maybe you will decide to take those resources from another company for the short duration. So what are the usual market rates for those resources that you have to pay? Any published sellers price list. So these are the factors that you as a project manager now has to get to know in order to do a proper estimate costing. And also you might have to tap any historical information that you possess in your organization. Maybe a few months back for another project, you rented laptops. You can ask that and my project manager, what is the cost that you took in and how much you incurred it, and lesson learned. So this is last time when you when we were estimating the activity duration. Can you remember last time we discussed analogous estimating? So same goes to costing. Sorry, this has to change as costing. Same goes to costing. Analogous estimating, which we take historical information, previous projects information, or parametric costing, where actually where you try to do a mathematical calculation for a parametric driven mathematical calculation for the costing for man day, for number of man hours and per rate, and number of man days that you require. So likewise, a parametric estimating can be done. Then last time, can you remember this? We got the 3-point estimation method. It is also called the PERT technique, and also called in statistical terms the beta distribution, where you take the most most optimistic one plus 4 times into most likely plus the worst case, the most pessimistic one, divided by 6. So here, this is where last time, as you discussed, this same goes to when you're calculating the duration, same goes to when you're calculating the cost. If you're uncertain about the cost, maybe a projector or renting of a laptop, most likely to be around 20,000 per month, but worst case we can buy it at 30,000 per month. If we get a better deal, we can get about 15,000 per month. So if you have a price range, then of course you can use this technique to get a beta distributed figure, taking into the uncertainty into the picture. I think the same set of slides that we are using it like last time. The reserve analysis, if you can remember, the contingency reserve that we used for each and every activity for duration. Now for each and every activity costing, we can do a contingency reserve. You know that for the known risks, you can do a percentage, maybe a 5% margin or 3% margin you can keep for the costing for each and every activity. Then again, over and above everything, you can have a management reserve, as we discussed last time, for the duration, same for the costing. You can do a management reserve for the unknown risks. Then, as I told you, cost of quality is also very important, because you will have to trade off between the conformance and the cost of conforming to a quality standard and cost of non-conforming to a quality standard. Maybe your customer requires some high quality standard, 99.99 availability. So cost of your investment or your research of your project team or the technical development part that is required for conforming to your customer requirements, and versus the cost of non-conforming. Basically, there can be errors during UAT, again coming back and again changing the entire thing. Then it will be too late because you will incur more cost. So better to conform now than getting rejected at the UAT level. And short term, as I told you earlier, short term cost reduction shortcuts versus the implication of more frequent problems later in the product life cycle. So maybe you're developing ERP system. The short-term shortcuts that you take in your development platform now will have a direct impact as a long run. If it's short-term design implications, since you're lazy, or if you take time, since you know that a good design will take time, you do a shortcut. But then in future, for years and years, you will suffer because you are not designed it properly. Your bottom line has not designed. The architecture of the system has not designed properly to incorporate certain modifications. So these things has to take into, especially in a scenario where your company is a product development company, not a one-off development, and you're improving your software as a product, so you can sell it to other customers, many customers. Then of course you should not take short-term shortcuts. You should always, a customer requirement, you can take it, parameterize it, and then incorporate into your main product, co-product, so that can be later on used and even sometimes later on be sold to another customer, since this is now properly parameterized. Okay, so alternative analysis is actually what we discuss all this time, leasing versus renting, or buying versus renting, or outsourcing versus insourcing. So you as a project manager has to understand what are the alternative options, cost, and select the most cost-effective option, and select the most cost-effective option that will reduce the overall project cost. So the output of estimating cost will be obviously the cost estimate, either in summary or either in detail, entire cost estimate, the technology cost, the services cost, the facilities cost, maybe you have to build certain tables for your team, or your facilities cost, transport facilities cost, or equipment cost, co-development cost, then the contingency reserves. So all these details will come out from this cost estimate. Then again, definitely after this exercise, you will have assumption list. US dollar rate you have taken for next, maybe this is a project that's spanning for 2020 and 2021 mid term. Then you will have a assumption that US dollar rate you have taken at 210. Error margins, or any other basis for estimates, because you will be, if something goes wrong, you as a project manager will be asked, how did you arrive at this budget and why it went wrong? So you will always have to have your backing up estimates. Maybe a simple things like renting, then you will have another 2 quotations with you, and you said, okay, I took quotations and this is the rough estimate I got, and then I averaged it and took out the costing. So you will have a whole heap of basis for estimates after this exercise, which you will preserve for any control activities. And then you will update your risk registers and assumption logs and any other lesson learned registers as output of this.